Hello, music multiverse listeners. Welcome to the first episode of 2024 for Album Review Saturdays. Here on Beyond Your Radio, I've got three I will talk to you about from our articles section of our website and add an entire special set at the end. That's right, hang in there. 5 albums, all tied to one artist. But before we do that, did you fulfill that New Year's Eve resolution? That new music resolution to subscribe? Please don't put it off. It'll help. It'll help your gym playlist. It'll help your cooking background. It'll help your romantic moments, however they come to pass. Oh, come on, click it. It's free forever. And you have the right to unclick it, right? And yeah, there you go. Click it. There you go. All right, let's get on with the reviews from the website in video format. So we've got Andy Edwards' Forbella, Danny Brown's Quaranta, and the first release of the year, Sprint's Letter to Self. Now, obviously, it's the beginning of the year. It's limited releases, so it's hard to find stuff in the first week of the year. But there were a few that were hanging in there from last year that I never, ever got to. The last 2 weeks of the year were amazingly packed with shows on the channel. I had The Visitors. I had panelists' favorite shows going on. We had the New Year's Eve meal to music. It was Chef Jeff, the Grateful Dude's birthday on January 1st. And that special is still being edited at this point for getting ready for posting. So let's kick off 2024 in Album Review Saturdays with an absolute fusion blast from an accomplished drummer, YouTuber, and music aficionado that we truly respect and couldn't wait to get our ears on his latest effort. Then we tap into a hip-hop rapper with a little bit alternative in there, reflecting on his age, his time, finish up with some garage rock punk from Dublin that actually did take the risky release for the first Friday of 2024. Good for them. And even better, ridiculously better for us. First album, Andy Edwards' Forbella. Now, if you don't know Andy Edwards, it's okay. We had to work our way and figure out the lineage of this awesomeness for ourselves, besides the great YouTube channel that we subscribe to. That's right, Beyond Your Radio, Mark Bulgowski. I subscribe and I watch Andy Edwards religiously. The well-known English drummer and multi-instrumentalist started out with the rock god turned solo artist, none other than the Robert Plant, in his band, The Priory of Brian. Now, you can do all the background, look it up if you want on that. But believe me, if you're working for The Plant, you know what you're doing. And then he stepped off of that and went on to a progressive status with bands like IQ and Frost. Well, there's some progressive aficionados, if you will, as well as this rather simple yet utterly informative 2021 YouTube channel that I just couldn't get enough of. His articulation and his understanding of music and going through from jazz to progressive rock. The man knows his stuff. And, so enough about him. Let's talk about him. His new album, Forbella, which he seemed to have somehow conceived from May to September of this year. All for an individual who wanted him to write something for her dance ensemble, I guess. Now, that dance ensemble had something to do with the mystery of Bella and White Elm. Okay, now I have no information on that, and I can do the information on that, or I can get to the album itself, right? So that's what I'm doing here. So when it comes down to it, let's describe this album for you, okay? It's an utterly all-in progressive fusion avant-garde uoso internationale. Would be describing it any other way would be utterly ridiculous. It's too complex. It's impressive in all the musicianship. It's miraculous in the instrumentations, the emotive ambient, and the gorgeous and spastic mixing that produced this feast of Forbella. Now, when I say feast, now I'm stepping out on a limb here. All right, I am going to describe this. We're gonna drop this, as I state, like a mole recipe. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm reading from a cue card because there's a lot in this recipe for this Forbella. The ingredients of this list to follow can only be accomplished by the most dedicated and skillful hands and minds of improv maestros like Andy, all right, or Mr. Edwards. I shouldn't call him Andy. He's got to get respect. 1 quart of heavy whipping progressive rock, 2 cups jazz, 2 tablespoons of funk, a cup of electronica. Let's make it half and half though. 2 tablespoons of African spice, Latin peppery guitar rock solos, a tablespoon of ambient salt, and set aside a sprig of bells, organs, and strings to decorate the black circle, or we'll call that a plate. Okay, so I'm not a trained musician at the caliber of Mr. Evans, but I certainly can understand and appreciate the ingredients, that passion, and the plating of it all. Comparing him to a chef and the album to a meal just seems so appropriate considering the depth of flavors that happen throughout this. Just consider Tangula Station. It starts off with a vocal, modulated sound, and strings, and it slowly gets churned, paced into a mid-Eastern whip, yet still grooved until it's sprinkled with a Santana-esque guitar and incredible toms. Maybe they're toms, I don't know. And cymbals and electronic drum pads, and I think there's a xylophone in there. I don't know, maybe there is, but let's take a listen. Yeah, there might be some Arabian flute via synthesizer, maybe. Come on, Andy, help me out. Come on the program, all right? I'll give you an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes to explain this. It's like Pat Metheny explaining that orchestration thing he did with all the little bells and valves. You know, I saw that concert live, and he was up there, and he just said, "You guys want me to explain this, or do you want me to play music?" And we all just said, "Play music." But if he had to explain it, it would take hours. But I would do that for you, man. So seriously though, the work, the sounds, the flow fits the man. His aptitude for creating and listening to music. That's that we've been at least watching since 2021 on his channel, knowing we could not hold a candle to something he mutters, or matter of factly, or on any of his shows. He's probably not going to read this article. He's probably not going to watch this video. I mean, he's too important for someone like Beyond Your Radio. But this is complicated as digital spin gets. And not only did we appreciate and love it, we wanted to engulf it. You know, I'm an eater who just I just devour shit that I love. But instead, we took our time, like he did. Well, maybe he didn't take his time considering it was made in September, but it savored it all. We just did. Yes, we're going back for seconds. Going back for seconds. I'm going to buy this album on the digital download so that I can get the story of Forbella, which is a digital booklet, and extra 30 minutes, which we can only assume is like the super deluxe mole recipe, which has added ingredients that I can't even fathom at this point. Forbella is definitely a severe miss on our part here at Beyond Your Radio from last year. Not getting to it sooner, as it definitely was one of the best listens of 2023, along with the Peter Gabriels of the world and other albums that we mentioned. Andy Edwards should have Forbella mentioned in that list. Let's move on. Danny Brown, Quaranta. Now, Danny Brown's style and beats feel like they never get old. He never rehashed or complacent. Quaranta is his newest album, which is really a reflective alternative hip hop retrospective, because he's looking back on certain things at the age of 40, I'm assuming, or 40, whatever his age is at the time, is somewhere in the 40s. But let's face it, his attention to having a beat that's deaf, Tone Loc reference if you're old school, is another formation that his skill set and attention is always the best part of the record. Even when he uses a loop, it fits wonderful when he's throwing it down, and he's definitely throwing it down in a lot of places here with all kinds of bass depth, uncontemporary sampling, allowing the grapplingness of the record to kind of rise and flow with his voice, big beats, and music that's genre inclusive to a certain degree, and edge. And it's only a 33-minute wallop. Again, I'm going to reiterate the comment about the beats. It's deep, it's rich, it's telling. They wrap around his rewinding memories and contemplations and vocal delivery, like panther skin at times, like a leather jacket in a dark, dank area of Detroit in the darkness, and in other instances, maybe even a bulletproof vest. Any which way, the sound moves you. It compels your attention, and the lyrics to the pace that he is looking to be effective in. This is not a dumbing it down album to digitally digest the soul-sucking masses that have temporarily stunted the genre that this music is made in. Danny Brown respects the process, the life. He realizes it. While rap saved his life, he's able to combine and not just separate his life, but create that into a style that's cultivating hip hop, rap, that he and others that will listen to it will not only respect, but be proud to listen to it and feel an emotion toward it later. I mean, he's 40. He's got one of 2023's best hip hop records, hands down, and I'm down with it.
Like a moth in the flame, when you burn, you learn. Rush to mistakes, but just wait your turn. Get what you need, what you want, you earn. When it's time, then it's time, but that ain't my concern. Like a moth in the flame, when you burn, you learn. Rush to mistakes just to wait your turn. Get what you need, what you want, you earn. When it's time, then it's time, but that ain't my concern.
All right, next. Let's get to this one. Sprints. Letter to Self. This is a banger. All right, let's just put that out there right now. I can't believe this. The Sprints Letter to Self has this beginning that's not only not for the anxiety ridden in any way, shape, or form. Once you hit the 2-minute mark and the song finally kicks off, you know it's garage rock, punk angst, and the energy is of a fever that you are in for. The question is, are you ready? Were you prepared? Letter to Self is perfect for the world we're in. The pace, the need, the want, the desire, and the impossibilities we all feel that weigh on every moment. Heavy? Well, yes, that's the second song, and it's exactly that. Let's have a listen.
It's heavy. Do you ever feel like the room is heavy? Do you ever feel like the room is heavy? Like the air is hot and the air is sweaty? Do you ever feel like the room is heavy? Like you barely breathe, and I'm watching the world go around.
A world go round kind of song that's catchy and sonic. Perfect for when your daughter in the hotel room can't sleep because she's got a big tryout in sports and is blaming your breathing. Walkers in the hallway, the darkness of the room not being adequate enough that she has the inability to sleep. Her pain becomes yours. Welcome to the lobby, pal. Listening to Cathedral and asking yourself the same question, is anyone here? As lead singer Carla Chubb asks. Let's listen to Cathedral.
Are any of us happy? Maybe I'm living what I closed shut. Maybe I'm giving, maybe not enough. Maybe that's the beauty, maybe that's the pain. Maybe living's easy, maybe dying's the same.
This is the debut on the very first release day of 2024, and it's brutal flickin' beauty. So, in answer to her question, is anyone happy? I can reply yes. This album's pressure pot delivery, pointed lyrics, perverse realism is massive in just a minute, and then it drops them off. Then your ears are aware of the silence, the questions, the lingering need to go at it again, whether it's a living nightmare reminder or just a fun romp in a train wreck of a life. You can't get enough is exactly right. And upon the second listen, the third listen, you are, now pulling on the clever musicianship and the simplicity of it all. You're hearing the subtle vocal shifts in her voice, the undertone and undercurrent in her breathing like lines that she delivers, the screams that start to beautify the angst, and the harmonies that are suddenly in the forefront, maybe a little bit more than you thought in the beginning, spinning to you louder than you heard before. It's an all-out winner on the very first release day of the year. And I, for one, can just audio imagine how they're going to pull this off live. They're going to take that angsty energy and it's going to kick the crowd's asses at every show. They're going to take the stage and make it a one-night stand, like it should be, hot, heavy, a wreck. Letter to self. Hello, self. Buy this album, go see the band, engage in life. It's at an all-out pace. Leave nothing to chance, and repeat it. I'm alive. And as I put in the writing thing, I said, I gotta go. The devil's knocking at my door. I think he wants me to turn that shit down. Well, he's always been an asshole. Finally, what do I have at the end here? I've been talking to you about this whole idea of a one-man show dropping 5 albums. Well, when something like that happens, you probably think Buckethead right away. But the actuality is that's not who dropped 5 albums on January 1 of 2024. In fact, it was Ryan Adams. Heatwave, Sword and Stone, Star Signs, or Star Sign, 1985, and Prisoners Live. Let's start out with Star Signs, which is really probably, of the records, along with Heatwave, very much in the wheelhouse of what you would expect of Bryan Adams. Although still production changes and difference in melodies and how he delivers vocally. Let's take a listen to Tomorrow Never Comes.
Like the polish in the surface of the moon, and it's half used up and wound up straight. I could see your face, I remember you standing in the lights, whispering something, whispering my name. Felt like forever, but tomorrow always came.
After listening the first time, there was no standout track that lyrically haunted me like Adams is capable of. It's like his old stuff, and I kind of thought that this was what this album was supposed to be. So since it has to be a second listen to get that kind of dropped my attachment to the record slightly, thinking, just leaving it into that sparse indie rock feel and pace, that I'm not going to have that feeling change over the last couple of listens. But in fact, in a couple more listens, I did pick up on other tracks and stuff that really had me thinking about the writing, etc. So it's not a one listen and you really sucked in. Star Sign needs a second and third listen, but it's still Ryan Adams doing the wheelhouse that he's most comfortable in, or it's our listening ears are more comfortable with. On complete contrast to that is 1985, where, let's put it this way, Ryan has chosen the Ty Segall approach to making a record, which is just bang out, throw down, wickedness, noise rock. So Ryan takes a step in the noise rock, garage, punk rock, pretending that, he's Ty Segall and has a London spunk in his repertoire. But it suffers greatly from various production styles, feeling disappointed in certain areas and outtakes. Like they weren't all at the same time. They came from different eras. Kind of think Springsteen was Stooges without Iggy. The songs are short, but lyrically have his touch. It's 29 songs, kind of says it all. It's a lot to swallow, but they're all in small bits. They can't all be bangers that matter, but I did choose this one. Have a listen. Was Midlife Crisis. I think you get the idea from that track. Now, when we go to Sword and Stone, right off the bat, this is Ryan Adams from the past, moved to the present. Introspectively consumed indie rock parcel that, that's his way or his knack. There's catchy guitars, electric and acoustic against his emotions and level of vocal that he chooses. 12 songs, it's well balanced and seems to come from a genuine emotive place that he can draw from. And we can all appreciate, whether it's a hint of twang or drum track backing or simple production. I absolutely love Make It Stop. The song has a Tom Petty Southern accent kind of feel. Have a listen. I mean, all in all, it's a very good record and kind of one that kind of stood out in these five. Next up is Heat Wave. Well, this is another return to the Sonic Garage. Is this one better produced and playing in the more current end of how things are done, or stepping back into what 1985 was? While I'm not clear on the 1985, I'll say it's a way better temper and mix for the ears, and it has something for everyone, and feels that it might have even been produced under somewhat the same signature and style and time frame. There's a lot of really cool guitar work that flips from and between crashing familiar electric guitars, acoustic, which also allows the solos to be pretty good too. It's a straight up rock with hints of kind of that revival kind of feel. And if maybe he was channeling a hint of the past to the Rolling Stone under a certain variety of production, maybe a little Elvis Costelloian.
Life is life, the Big Apple. So many fishes in the tank. Somebody had to build a miniature rainbow and shoot it out of the wool. Body flank steak. Natural fate. Secret histories and underground state. Supernatural fate.
Finally, out of the five, the one that wowed me the most, and I guess it's not a surprise because live albums from him tend to be rather engaging and emotion-packed wallops sometimes. You get surprises. And that's exactly what Prisoners Live is. Now, I didn't look at what the show dates were for this recording record with multiple shows, but it definitely had a very dense feel. It had a lot of musicianship that you weren't expecting, because normally when you think of Ryan Adams live, if he's with a band, uh, it's usually very intricate, and this I thought was going to be a soloish record, maybe him and an acoustic guitar, harmonica kind of thing, but it actually went above and beyond that with a horn section, great saxophone here, and they do a wonderful version of Tightrope. Take a listen. One of the rather interesting set lists and a very engaging live recording. I think everyone should have a listen to that. So we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, obviously the YouTube channel. You know the articles on our website, especially those of the Album Listen Challenge, Unknown Sundays. As always, thank you for watching and happy listening.